Hello, Bible readers. It's Thursday, November 5th. We're reading from 1 Samuel chapters 1 through 3 and Luke chapter 24, 1 to 35. These two readings go together like peas and carrots. We could put these in a lectionary for a Sunday service, I think, because there's a theme of resurrection here. An Old Testament way of talking about it through Hannah primarily, and then a New Testament way of talking about it through Jesus. An introduction of sorts to 1 Samuel. This is 1st and 2nd Samuel will be a witness to one of the most crucial periods of transition and change in the story of ancient Israel. We're going to go from a loose federation of tribes who are under an external threat from Philistines and also internal crises. There's this corruption of Eli and his sons, who are supposed to be responsible for the stewardship and caretaking of the ark and the covenant relationship that all Israel is to have with their Lord. So we're going to go from that, all these, the loose federation and the threats, to an emerging monarchy that's firmly in place under David, which are the glory days. I'm probably going to say glory days a lot in these posts, but those are the glory days of Israel when David is king. The point, the message that 1st and 2nd Samuel are going to try to get across is that God is at work amidst these very changing times of transition. God is at work through personalities, through events, all to bring Israel into a new future in keeping with God's purposes. So for all those times that we wonder whether God is absent from us, has forgotten about us, has chosen to depart from us, we've got 1st and 2nd Samuel reminding us that God is present with Israel even in the most difficult of times. Chapters 1 to 3 that we're reading today, we're catching the birth of Samuel, the corruption of the house of Eli. The Song of Hannah stands at the center of this section. I thought I'd read a little portion of my commentary here. The Song of Hannah not only celebrates the grace-given birth of a child, but also it looks beyond that moment to celebrate the birth of a new Israel, with a king as a grace-given possibility for Israel's future. The Song of Hannah tells us that we are hearing more than the local stories of Elkanah's family and Eli's family. The events that link the fate of these two families will determine the future of Israel. So Hannah's experience is representative of what all of Israel is to expect as we enter into these stories, this narrative. Okay, Luke, we're moving on from the death of Jesus to the resurrection of Jesus. As much as Hannah has life come from barrenness, that is what the resurrection is. This is not simply a resuscitation of someone who was dead. This is a resurrection, a new life from nothingness. And so Luke's going to make a move in these last few chapters to emphasize community. As much as he's trying to paint Jesus as philosopher and prophet, it's not like that's all going away, but now a real emphasis is placed on community, that faith in Jesus is based in continuing transformative experiences of transcendent power in communities. That's a mouthful, I know. But what it's not, and I think this is what's important, Luke doesn't want us to think that faith in Jesus is simply rooted in an individual experience of transcendent power, as though I need a big experience from Easter Sunday. Instead, it's rooted in ongoing experiences within a community. Luke is really a proponent of church. If we put it all on Easter, do we have that Easter moment swell up in our hearts? A moment, Luke knows that's not going to be enough, which I think is really, really interesting. If we put all our faith in one mountaintop moment that happened in our 20s, by the time we're in our 30s, 40s, or 50s, it may fade. We may doubt it. We may question it. It may look different from here than it felt there. And Luke knows then that faith in Jesus is going to be rooted in ongoing experiences. And that's why, after the resurrection of Jesus, Luke tells all these different appearance stories. And that's what we'll be reading about in these next couple chapters. Um, we're going to have Jesus appearing in and around Jerusalem, appearing on the road to Emmaus, continuing to teach, forming communities around those teachings. Jesus resurrected is not finished. It's not like everything we need for faith has happened. Faith formation now continues to happen from the foundational moment that is Easter. Easter is a foundation, not a completion. And I just think that's an essential thing to know about Luke and why Luke writes a whole nother book of Acts. I am one with my God. My God is with us, all of us, at all times and in all places.